Violence is escalating in American cities, a number of cities. And this was a shocker, a shooting at a very famous New York steakhouse, Peter Luger's in Brooklyn. Police say a family feud inside escalated when a 24-year-old man pulled a gun and started firing, actually striking two innocent bystanders who were eating their meal outside. It's a shocking story for a lot of people in New York. Fortunately, they're both expected to survive. The shooter has been arrested. He had 5 open warrants in North Carolina. Our next guest was there at that steakhouse as it happened. Dr. Drew Pinsky, host of Dr. Drew After Dark, joins us now to talk about this. Sir, thank you so much for taking the time.
Pleasure.
So, yeah, I mean, it's an iconic place to go. Everybody in New York wants to go there. Most people have been there by now. Take us back to that moment, I guess 8 days ago. Tell us, would you ever expect this to happen in this place?
Oh, of course not. And to your point, I'd been wanting to go there literally for years. And I think my daughter and I made an appointment. We were going to see each other a week later. Yeah. Last dinner engagement of the night at 9 o'clock. And we got there, and my wife and I were sitting outside. And before we went in, she said, why don't we sit outside here? I said, it could rain. I want to go inside and get the full Peter Luger experience. Had we sat at that table, that was right in the line of fire outdoors there where the gentleman was shot, the bystander. We were having dinner. It was finishing up the salads. I heard a commotion out front. I heard someone yell, "Call 911." I heard someone say someone was down. And I saw a woman sort of dive behind the cashier counter. So I sort of went over there to see what was going on because I thought that's actually where we were sitting right there. You're looking at our table right through the window there.
Sure, yeah.
And I was heading towards the cashier counter because I thought there was a medical problem. I mean, 911, somebody's down. I'll go see what's going on. As I headed over there, the staff was tearing around the corner, like screaming, everybody down, herded everyone over in the corner. And there we were with 35 of our closest friends all piled up on top of each other in the corner of the restaurant. The staff, everybody, go have dinner at Peter Luger. Those staff, they deserve a medal. They were amazing. They stood tall the whole way. They accounted for everybody. They made sure everybody was calm. And strangely for me, astonishingly, I think because those guys were so calm, I stayed completely calm as well. And I started thinking about what we're in here. And it was a very uncertain situation. I mean, we didn't know, was this a drive-by shooting? Was this a mass shooting event? The police were there, God bless them, also within 2 minutes. Brooklyn police, I think, I'm being told, were down the street at an anti-police rally. So they just happened to be in the neighborhood. Good for them. They were with us with 2 minutes. And when they arrived, I thought, well, now are we going to have a shootout? Or could there be bullets flying around? It was a very unclear situation as we tried to figure out what to do next.
Unreal. And the hilarity that the cops are at an anti-police rally and then have to come in to save the day again, just hysterical. I mean, what a story. I cannot even fathom. I mean, you're in a place like that. It's the last place you expect it. A lot of Democrats say this kind of story is overblown. They say don't believe your eyes when you see the stories of the crime heating up. They say our cities are safe. Here's just some stats. In New York, murders up 16% from this time last year, robbery up 28%, assaults up, grand larceny up 66%. And these are up compared to last year, which wasn't a great year either. What is your take on the talk of crime in this country? Both sides have differing opinions on this.
I don't understand the numbers. Suddenly, we're not going to believe numbers. The numbers are the numbers, and it's certainly. All my years living or coming to New York City, I've not been a witness to anything like that. And I think it's just a symptom of what's going on the streets of New York. It's not a big surprise. I'll tell you, in California, where I spend most of my time, it categorically is up here. I mean, it's out of control here. Right. But it was a strange, I don't like coming back to California, but strangely coming back this time, I felt a sense of relief. At least I was in my car. Yeah, I felt a little bit of a protection as opposed to walking out on the streets.
How sad is that? Unbelievable.
Yeah,
I want to turn to homelessness, though. It is a problem here in New York. We've watched it get worse under de Blasio. You live in Los Angeles, where I think it's a full-blown crisis. You were recently nominated to serve on a 10-member commission on homelessness, which was appointed by the city. Last month, that nomination was pulled after what the LA Times calls public outcry. What exactly is the story here?
Well, the LA Times wrote a hit piece. They took interviews from people who had no idea who I was or what my experience is in treating psychiatric patients. I spent 30 years. I'm a fellow at the American College of Physicians. I was an assistant clinical professor, Department of Psychiatry. Even though I'm an internist, I taught through the addiction medicine program. I ran for 20 years, and it became this extreme hit piece. And they exposed themselves. They showed themselves for what they are. If you wonder why things aren't changing in Los Angeles, there it is. Just the idea that one physician one physician might have eyes on where the billions of dollars are being spent was so threatening. And by the way, I was going in with an open heart and an open mind. I wanted to see what they were doing. I had no agenda whatsoever, but that was so threatening that one clinical person might actually see what was going on. And trust me, it is not just the way they allocate money in this state and this city. It is the laws that prevent people like me from actually treating the people that are suffering on the streets. We are losing 5 a day in California, in Los Angeles, in LA County alone, 5 a day. And it's an illnesses killing 5 people a day and no physician looking at anything that's going on the allocation of resources for these horrible conditions that are left to languish on the streets.
The LA mayor, Eric Garcetti, wants to spend $1 billion in the coming year to get people off the streets. In the meantime, there are more than 40,000 homeless in Los Angeles. They've got dozens and dozens of these travel trailers, though, sitting unused in parking lots, a bunch of them near Dodger Stadium on the north side. What exactly is the situation here?
Well, it's complicated, right? The big issue is that people look what happened in Echo Park. Just this morning it was announced that 35 tons of solid human waste was removed from the park, which is why the city finally cleared the park. And there was activist outcry. How dare you do this? Everybody was put in a facility, given treatment, given a place to stay, food, lodging, everything given to them. But that's not enough to the activists. Moving somebody from where they say is their home, no matter how unsanitary, no matter how dangerous, how dare you do that? And that is why people aren't moving into available resources.
Yeah. I mean, how real quick, because we got to wrap it up, but how bad is this cancer, I call it, of just hyper-liberalism? You talk about it. I mean, it's such a disease, especially in California.
Look, I'm a super moderate. I'm a physician. Yeah. I just see what I see. And I'm looking at my patients that whoever is creating the policies that are killing people on a regular basis there, I hold them particularly accountable. And if it's one side of the aisle or the other, I hold you accountable.
That's fair enough. All right. Dr. Drew Pinsky, host of Dr. Drew After Dark. Big fan, love the show, and I really appreciate you coming on.
You bet. Thank you so much.
All right.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.